Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. We're here. Okay. So I want to go through, if you guys have seen the YouTube video already, you know, we went through every single month. Also, I am stuttering, so give me a minute. I'll feel comfortable. It's been a hot minute since I've gone live. I'm a little bit nervous. You guys are making me nervous. So just bear with me here. Okay, so let's do some questions. So somebody said, do I trade Forex? I did trade Forex last year in October for an entire month. And I'll be honest with you guys, I cannot recall how much I made. I think it was maybe $1,000 to $5,000. I know I only had $5K in the account. So it was a very small account. To be honest, maybe I only had 1,000. I know that I just wanted to start small. And all right, let's see. Trade setups, average risk to reward. Let's go over. All right, I'm just going to answer some questions in the chat because the brain ain't braining tonight. So you just keep bringing them. Whatever you guys got. Did I play Copper? I did look at Copper today. Copper had some awesome moves. And so did Oil. Oil gave me a long signal, and I did not take it, and here we are. It is what it is. And the craziest part is the trades that I'm taking, I already have to wait so long for the setup that... Oh, and I'm not. Okay, now I am. Okay. All right, but we're not going over that yet because I want you guys to stay for longer. So I'm saving the juicy stuff for later. That sounded awful. God, I'm talking about charts. All right, what did you trade? So this year specifically, I have only traded 2 instruments, platinum and crude oil. I can totally do a chart analysis on crude oil. Just give me a little bit of time. Oh, somebody was asking my average risk to reward. This is going to be super controversial for you guys, and I'm going to say it's just not the status quo. When I get into a trade, I do not know what my reward is going to be. This sounds weird. That doesn't make any sense. And my risk trails along a trend line, so the risk changes as, you know, price continues along a trend line. So risk to reward is not a set number each time. And I know some of you guys are like, that's inconsistent. How does that work? It works, I promise. I mean, we'll go over my TradeZella and show you how. But the reward, I never know. So when I'm getting into a trade, I am trying to stay in for the entirety of the move. So if I get into, you know, oil and it's trending up, I don't know how long it's going to follow that trend line for. I don't know how long it's going to trend upward for until we break it. So the name of the game here is to try to stay in the trend for as long as possible. Stay in for the entirety of the move until it's no longer trending up. So that's going to be the answer to my risk to reward. It's different every time. And it depends on how close the price is to my trend line. So if the price is really close to my trend line, then my risk is so small. But if the price is pretty far away from my trend line when I get in, it's going to be a higher risk trade. So it's different every time. I know it's, you know, non-conventional or unconventional, but it's just the system that my uncle taught me, and that's what I've been doing for a really long time. Is technical analysis useless? No, that's all I do. I don't know anything about fundamentals, and I know a lot of guys that are incredibly successful that trade with, you know, fundamental analysis alongside technical analysis. And I think it would, if anything, it would just benefit. Like, I would only do better if I knew kind of why price is moving, you know, the way it is. But I'll be honest, that's maybe like a lazy side of me, or like a, you know, teaching a old dog new tricks. Like, what I do works now, and I don't really want to change it. So that's where I'm at as far as my views on fundamental analysis. So you don't care about risk management. Definitely care about risk management here. It's just not consistent. It's different every time. Now, obviously, if the risk is too high, I can pass on the trade. I don't have to take that trade. This absolutely will be recorded. Funny enough, I didn't hit the record button until, like, I'm going to say 3 minutes ago. So 3 minutes ago, moving forward, we are recording. One thing that I do want to come out a video for you guys is if we go over to my TradeZella really quick. Okay, you guys can see that I have the net profit and loss. So that's for the total year. That is January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. But I think you guys are more interested in the percentages, which I need to go in and add the initial balance to my TradeZilla dashboard. But if you guys want to do the math yourself, I started that account at 20K on January 1st, and then that's where we ended. So you guys can do, that mathy math stuff. All right, we're going back to the main cam. Okay, so let me at least catch you guys up on like personal stuff. So a lot of you guys were like, okay, she's in Miami, she's in LA, she's in Nashville. Where is she? Is she traveling the world? Last year, I floated for like most of the year. I was doing Airbnbs. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live. I tried Miami for a while, and I promise you guys, no shade on Miami at all. Loved it. That was the greatest time ever. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. But after I stayed there for more than a month, it didn't feel the same. Maybe I'm too much of a Leo, and like the flex energy was high flex. I'm pretty sure I probably almost tried to buy a Urus, like, cause everyone's got one in Miami. Like I got my first watch in Miami. Like I needed to maybe leave Miami because it's just too flexy. I don't know how to explain it. It is what it is. Maybe it would have made me work harder. I'm unsure, but I decided Miami wasn't it for me. And LA, let's just say LA taxes suck. So there's that. Cost of living is high. And I'm kind of like, I don't have family out there. And I thought LA, like you're thinking, okay, you can make a lot of connections. There's incredible opportunities out there. But when it comes to like a trader, you're kind of like flying solo anyways. So having those connections and those, opportunities, not really that beneficial for me. Now, maybe as an influencer, yes. But as a trader, didn't really make sense. So we settled. I am in Nashville. I'm a Nashville local. That's where family is, and it is official. So that's where my home base is. But I will totally be traveling to Miami probably this weekend. Or I like going to New York and LA. So, I like hitting every single one of these areas. So you'll probably see me in one of those cities fairly often. Actually just got back from New York. Loved it. You guys will see a podcast coming out with Rake Trades pretty soon. I did that this past weekend out in New York. It was awesome. But so that's the personal stuff. Maybe you guys are wondering why I took a break. Where'd she go? Like, why was she gone? The plan was to take a healthy social media break. I keep forgetting to like look at the camera. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Are we connecting now? We're making eye contact. So I took like a healthy break. I was like, okay, you know what? I crushed it this year. Like 2023, I hit some crazy goals, like trading, social media, personal stuff, like relationships, friendships, connections. Like I was just on my A game in 2023. So I was like, you know what? Let's take all of December off. I'm going to just be like the world's greatest aunt, hang out with my family, and no social media. And then it bled into January, and then it bled into February. And then by that point, I'm like, oh my God, I've been off social media for so long. Now I have been trading still since then, but December I took off social media and trading. I was like done for everything. I'm just hanging out with family. Then January, I got back into trading, but did not get back into social media. And then February, still trading, no social media. And by that point, I'm like, now I'm procrastinating, and now I'm thinking, okay, it feels harder to get back onto social media because I've waited so long. So we finally ripped the Band-Aid off, and March, we did it. We're back. She is back and better than ever. I'm doing everything. Saying yes to everything. Podcast. I already posted my first long-form content on YouTube. It's been a minute. I haven't posted long-form content on YouTube, first of all, never consistently. I maybe have like a total of 5 whopping videos on there. So I'm finally doing my live streams. I'm on a schedule. Can you guys freaking believe that I'm on a schedule? You guys can count on me being live right here. It's a date on the second and the last Wednesday of every month. And then as far as long-form content, every Tuesday at, I think it's like 11 Central, 12 or noon Eastern, something of that nature. But if I'm wrong, I will absolutely post, what my schedule is going to be like. But she's consistent. She's going to be on a schedule. You guys can count on me to be here twice a month, live, whatever questions you got. If you missed the last one, you can make the next one. It's wild. I'm so excited to finally have some like structure in my life. And to be a little bit more consistent on social media. If I truly want growth, I got to be consistent. I can't just be going live and random showing up and be like, hey, sorry you guys missed it, but I randomly went live last night. Okay, but let me leave some room for some more questions. I saw them coming in, so give me a second. Give me a second. Let's see what we got here. Can you make a video specifically on your strategy? So if you go back and watch any of my live streams, dude, I break it down. I break it down. So go back, watch any of my live streams where I'm doing chart analysis or I've got live trades open and I talk about why I'm in a trade, when I'm thinking to get out, or what I'm thinking is going to do in the future. So go back and watch those live streams. There's plenty of content out there of my strategy. All right. Oh, yes. YouTubes are Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central. Thank you. How many years did it take you to be consistent? It took me quite a few. And I think everyone's journey is going to be different. Every single human's journey is going to be different when it comes to trading. There are too many things that come into play. No two people are the same. And that's just like your literal genetic makeup. That is okay, twins are an exception, but you know what I mean. Regardless, like your psychological makeup is not the same. So no one's journey is going to be the same. Now I can talk to you guys about my journey and my experiences, but I can guarantee you they will not be the same as mine. I was fortunate enough to be taught how to trade by my uncle. So I had a family member teach me. I know I am incredibly fortunate and privileged to have that. Not many of you guys have that. You have to find a mentor. You have to do your own research, trial and error. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can get into trading. I was privileged enough to have a family member teach me. Now, along with that, I got this information for free. It was just given to me. So I didn't take it seriously right off the bat. I goofed off for a whole year, if not maybe a little bit more, until I actually tried to take trading seriously. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? What are you doing? You know how to trade. Your uncle taught you. Why not? Let's actually be consistent. I found myself, I would maybe take breaks from trading in general. I would trade maybe twice a month. And I'm like, if I truly want to make this work, I have to at least consistently trade. That's outside of working on psychology, working on strategy, consistency, developing relationships with the instruments you're trading. You just got to get some chart time in. Honey, pick it up. Let's go. So it probably took me longer to get consistency and profitability, longer than it would take some of you guys, because if you invest your own money into education or a mentor, you're taking it seriously right off the bat. I didn't, so it took me some time. So I would say it took me somewhere between 3 and 4 years to find that consistency and that profitability. Do you drink energy drinks every day? No, I don't. Not every day. Not every day. Okay. So let's go over some chart analysis now. I think you guys have been hanging out for long enough. Actually, okay, no. We're going to start with let's just go back. Whatever questions you guys have for my 2023. If it involves, percentage, you're going to have to save that for the next live stream, because I don't have my percentages set on my TradeZella because I didn't enter my initial balance for January. So we're going to have to save the percentages for another time, but the dollar amounts and everything, all of the trades are correct. So whatever questions you guys have for that, let's go through it. But if you guys are wondering, what's my average hold time? What's my best trading day? How many trades did I place, throughout all of 2023? So whatever you guys got, bring it. I am pulling up my TradeZella right now. Is this live? Yes, Patrick G. Coming at you live from Nappy Boy Radio. Okay, I'm pulling up TradeZella. I'm scooting it over. Okay, so let's go over, let's see what this has to offer. Give me just a second here. We're going to go over to let's go to reports. Oh, God. It's a little bright. Okay, but this is what we're going to have to work with. Okay. Okay, so this kind of gives you the stats on if you're wondering, okay, what's my average hold time on all of my trades? Average hold time on my winning trades, on my losing trades. So this is kind of more the nitty gritty stuff that I didn't get to go over in my long form YouTube video. So if you guys have questions or starting balance, it was 20K. What instruments did you trade? Whatever questions you guys got, drop it in the chat. Why did you stop trading stocks? I stopped trading stocks because the time, market hours were not ideal for me. And I was a day trader, and my uncle terrified me to hold positions overnight because of gaps in the market. So I was forced to day trade, and I didn't like the trading hours. And the barrier to entry to day trade is high. You gotta have 25K in an account to day trade stocks. So futures was the obvious alternative. Love the trading hours. It's a much lower barrier to entry. You can hold positions for days, even a week or two, a few weeks, depending on when your contract expires. So, but okay, so let's take a look at my total P&L. That is all of the money that I made in 2023. You can see my average winning trade, my average losing trade. It's not that far from each other. Now we've got the total number of trades taken, 57. That's pretty high. That's pretty high for a swing trader. I struggled for most of the year trying to stay in that 4-hour time frame. So if you guys did watch the video that I posted on YouTube about my full year review, I mean, I go over it and over it and over it, trying to stay in the 4-hour time frame, and then like relapsing and going back to the 1 hour and then taking trades within the day. So I absolutely think that number is high for a swing trader. I'm already doing excellent as far as how many trades I've placed so far. Right now we're on 3 and it's March. Like, good job, Tori, staying in that 4-hour time frame, holding those trades. Okay, and then we've got the largest profit and largest loss is actually not correct. And I don't know if that's because maybe when I closed a position, I wasn't able to get filled on all of the contracts in one. So maybe it split it up into multiple trades. But last year, I believe my biggest profit was $26K. And my biggest loss was 15. That sounds about right. So unsure as to why these aren't exactly correct, but I mean the total P&L is correct. That matches my broker statement, so I knew that was good. As far as commissions, it says that I paid $848. That could be right. Like, TradeStation is hella low when it comes to commissions. I believe if you just sign up with TradeStation, if you're like a new client or you're a new whatever that term is with the broker. I think there's like some promotion going on that's like 50 cents per contract, maybe even lower than that. It's wild. Let's see maybe if we can look at some like average, winning day. What's my best day? Average daily P&L. We've got, as you can see, the R multiples. I know if Umar is watching this, he is not going to be happy. He is like a R multiple guru genius. I don't trade with R multiples, and I know that's maybe weird. It's unconventional. I'm sure it is, but I just don't have a set risk to reward for every trade. Like I don't know how long I'm going to stay in this trade for. I don't know. I'm just truly trying to stay in for the entirety of the move. So I'm not trying to like guess where the market's going to get to. And I know that's kind of hard to make consistent, but I think I'm very aware that the markets are not consistent. It isn't. The markets are incredibly dynamic, and I'm allowing it to be dynamic. I'm adapting my strategy to be dynamic with the markets, or to be this ever-changing, flowing. I'm starting to get like a little, holistic and spiritual with it. But essentially, it's just not I don't know. To put like A plus B equals C on every trade just doesn't make any sense to me. But obviously, some people do it incredibly. I mean, oh my gosh. It's just, for me personally, it doesn't work. Let's go see. Give me a second. Let me see what other features we can look at here. I don't have anything in my daily log, but let's take a look at, okay, so these are all the trades. Let's just go through some of the instruments that I traded last year. I traded way more than I thought. I traded almost every indice. Gold, I had no idea I traded gold so much last year. Like, it's so funny going back and just doing like a full year review. I'm like, when did you trade gold so much? But okay, sure. But then once we got closer to the end of the year, I ended up just trading 2 instruments, and that was platinum and oil. And then this year, actually, to be honest, at the end of last year, it dwindled down to just platinum. And then this year, I have also just traded platinum and oil. So you can see here, let's start with, let's looking at November. Let's go to the beginning of the year. So I was still trading some of the minis, I was trading the micros. So if you see the letter M in front of one of these symbols, it means it's a micro, which means it's a lot cheaper. You can, you've got a lot more room to scale in and out of positions. If you wanted to have just one single one, it's an excellent first start or introduction to futures, is trading those micros. They're cheap. So I was still trading some of the micros at the beginning of the year, and then I ended up going down to the minis, which are a little bit more expensive. I believe they are 10 times the amount of the micros. So we're going to go look at, we've got crude oil, we've got micro gold, the ES, the YM, the NQ, platinum. We've got, is this year? Oh, no, this is last year. Okay. We got platinum, gold again, gold, oil, NQ, gold. So I'd say that was about it. I traded all the indices for the most part, platinum, gold, and crude oil. So those were all the instruments that I traded last year. I do trade on a margin account, and I am swing trading. Yes, that is correct. All right, let's take a look at, what else do we got here? Let's go back to the dashboard. We've got the profit factor. Okay, well, let's go over profit factor and trade win percentage. But before I do, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the way that I learned how to trade. Is my uncle never once, we'll say my mentor, just so that you guys can really truly feel like this is relatable. My mentor never once mentioned win percentage, profit factor, average win to loss ratio, or even R multiples. We never discussed that. When I got into this community, or when I got into trading, and people are like, what's your win percentage? I'm going to be honest with you guys, I had no idea. I mean, obviously now I have a beautiful platform to tell me exactly what my win percentage is. TradeZella, shout out. But before, that was never part of the problem. That was never part of the process. That was never part of the teaching or the strategy. It was just truly, we're trying to stay in for the trend. Stay in for as long as you can. Then when it's no longer trending, we're thinking of reversing our position, changing directions with the market. We're trying to flow with the market. The trend is your friend. Essentially, all of these things came into play when I learned. So I did not know what my profit factor was, what my win percentage was. Any of that. I didn't even really, like, as far as it's just, or even like an average of how much I make, a day, or how much I make a month. I just tried to capitalize on what the market could give me every trade. So I know some of you guys are like, that just is unconventional. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work for me. Totally fine. Totally cool. But that's just how I got into trading. That's how I learned. But now I've kind of adapted. So now that I'm part of the trading community, I know that you guys need stats. And now I've kind of moved into an educating role, or an educator role. And students need to know, like, hard data, hard stats. They're like, okay, what is the win percentage of your strategy? Now, obviously, it's going to be different every single month. It's going to be different every single year. But at least I can provide you with, accurate numbers. Okay, so for 2023, my trade win percentage was 63.16. And for 2023, my profit factor was 2.49. So you guys can see at least the numbers that you need to help you figure out if this will work for you, or to provide you with the, comfortability that you need to try something new. Whatever it is, I at least have the stats for you. I have the data for you. But how big of a role it plays in my trading or my psychology is quite minimal. Now, it's excellent to go back and see, okay, what did I do all year? Now, as far as the trading journal goes, like all of the stats, especially like doing a year review, oh my gosh. And then especially when it's in a moment where you're trying something new, you need the data. You need the analytics to be like, okay, what worked? What didn't? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? So when I did my 2023 year review, it was the transition from day trader to swing trader. And there's so much that I did wrong and so much that I did right. But how cool to still be able to come out on top like this, because I got that tenacity. I got that consistency. I got that discipline, and I knew the strategy like the back of my freaking hand. Confidence in the strategy is there. But the time frame that I'm learning on, or I'm learning to trade was not. So we were quite novice when it came to like staying in the 4-hour time frame. So those are some things that I struggled with, and it's way cool to go back and be like, all right, 2023, I traded way too much at the beginning of the year. Way too much. I'm talking like I probably had, let's just take a quick peek. How many trades did I place in January of 2023? All right, we're going to go to date range. Give me a second. January 1st to January 31st. It hurt too. Dude, we came out I was sinking. January sucked. And I mean, if you guys already watched the video, you know that it was, what a bummer month to be like, okay, I'm sharing this journey with you guys. Hey, I'm trying out swing trading. Join me on this journey. It's going to be awesome. Way cool. Ow. I have to share with you guys that I lost $6,000 freaking dollars. Love that for me. No. But as far as the month goes, look at that. That's supposed to be, look at this calendar right here. That's supposed to be a swing trader. I think not. That's way too many trades. So obviously you can see I was struggling with staying in the 4-hour time frame. I was all over the place. But if we go to February, okay, she did better. She's holding those profits a little bit longer. She's getting more comfortable with the time frame that she's in. So we'll do February really quick just to show you guys. Okay. And I had to take it into like hyper mode. Like I'm talking like hyper speed. No, not hyper speed. Overdrive. It was, oh, there was so much pressure. So, okay, we came back on top. Thank gosh. Made 8,000 the next month. But oh my gosh, it was such a tough thing to be like, all right, I'm sharing this journey with you guys on social media. I've got everyone watching my trades. They got to see me lose. They got to see me fail on the first month of the year. What a bummer that was. But then how cool to be like, man, is Tori trades, you know what I'm saying? She coming back strong, even harder the next month. And that ended up being the trend for the rest of the year. So it was it was a tricky one. But how cool to be able to go back and look at all my data and be like, okay, this is what I did right. This is what I did wrong. This year, I'm killing it. I just got W after W after W, and we've only got 3 trades, and we're already up 50K. How cool. So cool. So yes, it took me a year to master swing trading, to master the 4-hour time frame. But here we are a year later, and we're doing it. It's so exciting. Okay, it's 7:30 now. Let's start to do some chart analysis. I want to show you guys maybe a little inside scoop on the strategy that I use, the trend lines that I have on the screen. What am I thinking oil is going to do? What am I thinking that oil did? Did I miss something? What are some trades that I already placed this year? So let's go over to my trading view here and just take a peek. We'll start with oil. Oil is one of my, it's something that I traded for a really long time. Antonio, what's up? What's good? Antonio is one of my previous students who is the coolest human ever and is killing it. All right, we're going to take a peek at trading view. Give me a minute. Okay, we'll start with oil, and let me just kind of zoom out and give you guys an overview of what we're looking at. Now, real quick, this may look like a laser show, and that's fine if it does. There is a method to the madness. This looks clean to me. This is how I operate. This is my strategy. I color code. I've got lines on the screen. I'm looking for trends. I'm consistently moving trend lines, deleting trend lines, drawing new trend lines. This is it right here. So let's zoom out a little bit. First things first, let me tell you this position that I missed, or this trade I missed right here. So I've got 1, 2 touch points for this trend line. To be honest, 2 is enough for me. If it's got 3, incredible. If it's got more than that, amazing. I mean, that is just added confirmation right there. But I'm happy with 2 touch points on my trend line. And we've got a buy signal here. There's 2 things that my students could have done, or that I could have done if I got into this trade. So we're thinking long positions here. We can either put a stop loss on the other side of this area of support, or what I do, which I'm in a position where I can take on more risk. This is something I've been trading for 9 years now. It's kind of wild to even say that out loud, but I am in a position to where I can take on more risk. I've got bigger goals this year. I'm trying to increase capital size. I'm trying to increase my positions. I want to grow. So like I have to take on more risk. So this is something I'm comfortable with and I have the ability to do. So my risk would actually be on the other side of a steeper trend line. So that's incorrect. Give me a minute. We got to do Ray. There we go. Okay, so we would go here. We got a touch point. I try not to cut off any of the price, even if it's a wick. I try to incorporate the wicks too. Like they're there for a reason. It wicked to that point for some reason. So I would get into a position here, and I would be willing to let it come all the way down to this trend line before I even considered taking a loss. So I would give this thing some movement. It could come up. It could hang around this area of support. It could break through it. As long as it's trending along this steeper upward line, I'm happy and I'm okay. It could take a few weeks before it even continues up or before it actually makes its move. I could be in this thing a week and then it come all the way down and finally break, and then I got to close it with a loss. So being in this 4-hour time frame is a little strenuous. It takes some patience. It takes a lot of patience. Actually, the fact that I didn't even get to take this trade was a little bit of a bummer because it took forever for it to even just cross this trend line and me to get the signal. So those are some things that come into play when I'm thinking, positions in crude oil. So this is what we're thinking here. Long positions, and as long as it can stay above this upward trend line, I can give it all the movement it needs. Now, there is the ability, if you trade micros, if you're trading micros and you're looking to kind of replicate the strategy, first thing I could, consider, or the first thing I could suggest is stop loss go on the other side of the area of support. Now, obviously give it some room. You don't want to put it right at that. But another thing could be trading the micros. You could just trade one singular micro contract of crude oil and then allow it to come all the way back so that the risk has been, reduced, and you're kind of cutting that in half depending on how much you usually would trade. But what's cool about the micros is you can trade all the way from 1 to 10 micros before you even reach the amount of what one mini contract would be like. So this is something to consider when you're thinking like super newbie, you're just now getting into futures, and you're like, okay, I just want to dip my feet in. Let's just see what this feels like. The micros are an excellent place to start. They're incredibly cheap, low barrier to entry. So you could be trading, and the symbol for that is MCL1 exclamation point. Exclamation point. Yeah. All right. Let's go over to, well, no, let's just do a little bit more analysis here. So right now I missed the move. I should have been thinking long positions and should still be in it. Now what's cool is I can't come in with any steeper trend lines right now because I haven't been presented with a pullback. Now, if the price of oil does pull back down and then continue up, then I can track that's even steeper. So eventually there will be times where I've got like this fan of trend lines where I'm just tracking price steeper, steeper, and steeper. And sometimes I will use those trend lines to help me add to positions. I rarely ever scale out. And when I say rarely, I mean like I never scale out. I don't scale out of positions, but I do occasionally scale into positions. But usually I'm all in or I'm all out for my trades. But let's kind of zoom out and see what oil's done. What is it doing? It is really hanging out at this 78.47. It is hugging this area. To be honest, yes, it was resistance. It was here, poked through it. Everybody thought this was going. No. Hit it spot on over here back in November. Poked through it here, still turned around, poked through it again. Hit, 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 hit. By that point, I'm thinking, dude, it's hit too many times. Like, it just cannot break 78.47. And then lo and behold, it does. I take a long position here. I don't stay in for too long. I made only like $10,000. I say only, but that's amazing. I made $10,000 freaking dollars in crude oil. But I took a long position over here, closed it, and right now we're just hanging. We're chilling around this 78.47. So we got to see some like movement. We got to see this go. Like if we're really going, it's got to at least break out of this downward trend line. So right now, this is what I would do moving forward. I'm going to zoom in. I missed the move. I didn't get to take this signal. I didn't get to take this long. So what I'm going to do is actually delete this line so that I can get rid of the FOMO that I have by seeing, oh, that's where I should have got in. And now I wait. Oil could do nothing but bounce back and forth and in between these two trend lines for days. Maybe I won't get a signal until next week. Or maybe this thing just continues up and we're still going up, up, and away. So right now I can just chill. I can wait. I can close my computer screen and go out about my life. Go on with my life. You get the point. So I can just do what I do. I can make content. I can go hang out with family. I can teach. What else do I do? I can do hot yoga. You know what I'm saying? I think those are all the things that I do. And do nothing until I finally get an alert. And when one of these lines gets crossed, then I'm like, okay, now it's time to engage. It could be tomorrow. It could be days from now. It could be next week. That's the coolest part about, I think, my strategy is that I'm not looking at the market during every session. I'm truly just waiting for price to tell me when to get in. So this is what I would be thinking moving forward. Just waiting. I'm patient. I got to sit on my hands, make sure I got alerts on both of these trend lines. I do. I got an alert on this one. And boom, I don't have an alert on this one. Let's add. I like to do once per bar and create. Okay, bada bing, bada boom, we're in. So now if oil breaks out of either one of these two, then I'm thinking to engage. Right now, I missed the move. So bad, so sad. That's fine. Too bad, too sad. Whatever that term phrase is. So right now we wait. We're sideways. We're in consolidation. Like we got to see this thing actually move. And until then, it's got to break one of these two trend lines. So now let's move on to platinum. Platinum. Oh my God, you guys, platinum is so beautiful. So beautiful. The movement, like if I just can go back and show you guys from last year, excellent. I'm talking so many touch points on trend lines. It respects these trend lines. When it breaks a trend line, it continues in the opposite direction and then gives that new trend line multiple touch points. It's just like, oh, I can't take it. It's amazing. Oh, and I guess to catch you guys up, I had my biggest trade to date ever in my life. It was $30,000 in platinum. I was able to capitalize on this little upward chunk right here. And wow, imagine if I had done it over here, but that's neither here nor there. And that's just messing with my psychology. I shouldn't even talk about it. But how cool. And that was this year. So that was the second trade of the year. First trade of the year was also in platinum. I made $10,000. Second trade of the year was also a trade in platinum, made $30,000. And then the third trade of the year was the $10,000 trade that I just showed you guys in oil that I made. Okay, let's go out and see just all of the beautiful price action that platinum gives us. Now, someone did tell me to consider silver. I'll look at it. I'll take a peek. Actually, maybe we can go into that next and just see, you know, how clean the price action is, how much it respects the trend lines. But are you kidding me? Look at this. Look at this beautiful move in either direction. Like, you can capitalize on long positions, short positions, over and over and over again in platinum. Short positions, long positions, and it just goes. Look at this. Beautiful. Long positions, short positions. And if you can stay in for the entirety of those, I mean, if that, you might not even be able to stay in for all of that. But if you can stay in for a portion of that, those are incredible moves. And I'll just kind of zoom in and show you guys where I would have gotten opportunities. So we're in the 4-hour time frame. That's where I stay. That's my sweet spot. I do need to incorporate more of the daily time frame. Absolutely, I should be incorporating more of the daily time frame. That's maybe a flaw on my end, or like I need to be more disciplined about incorporating. Maybe I just go over it, you know, once a week. But that's something that I recognize I need to do. But let me just show you guys where I would have been able to capitalize on some of these opportunities. So I would try to find multiple touch points in platinum. We've got beautiful touch points here. Many touch points. So as long as we can capitalize on this, now how could I get into this move? So we've got an upward move here. We've got a beautiful upward trend line. Platinum's going up and away to the moon. Now how can I get in on this trade? So I would show you guys the reason why I would even enter a position like this would be because a previous trend line is broken. Now just follow along here. I'm just using this for an example. Okay, we would have a downward trend. We got touch point, and boom, it broke. This is just the broadest example I can give you guys. I would be thinking long positions here. I've got a safety line. Coolest part about this is price is incredibly close to my safety line. We got one touch point. We got two touch points here. When it broke, it's incredibly close to this line. I could go in heavy on this position because if this doesn't work out, I'm going to know pretty quickly and with minimal loss. Well, depending on how heavy I go in the position. But if I go in regular, you know, a regular position size in platinum and it goes against me, I'm going to know pretty quickly and with minimal risk here. But if you are maybe thinking, you know what, I'm feeling really good about this position, and we can talk a little bit about intuition, which I do truly think plays a role. Now, I know intuition is not something that you can teach traders, but you can absolutely gain that level of intuition by just chart time. Like if you have watched platinum for like 3 years, you can have a feeling about a trade. You can like, let's say that, you've watched this for so long that when you get a big wick like this and it's pulling back, like you don't feel good about it. Or you just know that, okay, platinum, when it breaks, you're feeling good immediately. You get in upon break and you're ready, you're confident. Or let's say that you've, watched oil for 3 or 4 years now, and every time it breaks a trend line, it's usually a fake out a few times, so you're a little bit more hesitant on the first opportunity, and maybe you wait for the second or the third. So things like that, you can absolutely not necessarily learn, but you can develop by watching an instrument for long enough. Like, yes, I can't teach you how to feel a certain way about a trade, but you can absolutely watch platinum long enough to be like, you know what, I got a good feeling about this, or I just know its personality. It's just like, developing a relationship with a human being. Like, you just know, okay, when Tori gets sad, she just needs a little bit of, coffee, or she needs coffee. That's usually always it. If she's sad, give her coffee, she's happy, or a snack. So you're like, okay, same with platinum. If platinum is breaking out of a trend line, you're like, okay, you know what? I know I've watched this happen so many times over and over again. I know that this time it's going to go, or this time it might not. So I might feel better about a trade, or I might feel like, I'm going to pass up on a trade. So these are things that you can't necessarily teach someone, but you can absolutely develop yourself if you just watch something for long enough. So going back to, all right, why are we thinking long positions here? I would have a downward trend line. If it breaks, we're getting in long positions, and we're going to stay in as long as we can until it breaks this upward trend line. Now, you can see if we zoom in a little bit more, there were a few areas where the price wicked out. There are some things that you can, if you've traded platinum long enough, and maybe you're like, you know what? I know that sometimes my trend line isn't spot on to the cent. It could be, there. We can give it some wiggle room. We can give it some time to, scoot up, scoot down. But let's say even if you don't, and you close your trade right there, still, what an excellent move from here to here. Beautiful. But let's say, you know what? You weren't convinced to close your trade right here. When it just poked out, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm waiting for the candle to close. Maybe I need to really truly have some conviction about this trade and feel like, okay, you know what? If this is no longer going up, you need to convince me that we are really going down before I close my position. And it did not. It did not show you any of the signs. It continued up. So then you might have thought, all right, maybe we're closing here. We've got a big red candle here. And even if we waited for the candle to close, the very next one over here, even if maybe you didn't get the very high at this 1015.3, but you got out here around this 990. What an incredible freaking move. What an amazing move here. And it just continued to do that over and over again. I can't rave about it enough. We've got beautiful price action in platinum. It just goes. When it goes, it goes. We've got upward trends, downward trends. It's bullish, it's bearish. We can capitalize on either direction here, and it just goes when it breaks. So I could talk about this for the rest of the night, but maybe we'll leave it there. So I'm going to be live for just another 15 more minutes. I'm going to go back and open up the chat and see what questions you guys have, and maybe get some ideas for, some live streams for, moving forward. What's kind of some things that we want to see. Now, you guys got to keep in mind that I am a swing trader. So the ability to show you guys a live trade on the second and the second and last Wednesday of every month is probably going to be very unlikely. But if I do happen to be in a trade, absolutely, I'm showing you guys. I will show you that live trade, now we're going to be looking at 4-hour candles, so it won't be very exciting, but we can absolutely go through that trade. But whatever, topics, themes you guys want to see for live streams moving forward, let me know. I'm down. Let's do it all. Someone asked, do I trade stocks? I do not anymore, but the start of my trading career, if you want to call it that, was in the stock market. Someone said, do you look at the angle of a trend line? No. So the angle is never necessarily a big role in my trading. It's always going to be touch points. So if I can find a wick or just a lower low or a higher high, then I'm going to try to incorporate that in my trend line. How close do you watch fundamentals? In all honesty, I do not incorporate fundamentals into my trading. I feel like that's just not it's frowned upon, which I mean, I guess is fair, but I just don't incorporate fundamentals. So like when I'm trading, it's purely just price action. Now, obviously I do know when like big news comes out, if it's a Fed day, I'm going to be quite on the back foot, or quite prepared that, a stop loss or a take profit might be hit pretty quickly or pretty soon on one of those news days. Someone said, do you trade gold? I traded gold many times last year and didn't even realize how much I traded gold. Congrats on the 50 racks. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. How much do you withdraw usually every month? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. What's your entry confluence? So I'm looking for breaks of trend lines, and depending on how close the price is to the opposing trend line, that will help me determine if this is a higher risk or a lower risk trade, or if I just need to pass up on it. Tori with the presidential. Don't say nothing, you know what I'm saying? Quit, I'm a Leo. You guys are just asking for it. I feel like I need to calm down. Okay, I love watching your videos. Thank you, guys. Dude, bring in whatever the questions you guys got. We got a few more minutes. I'm going to hang out here for a little while, answer these questions before I hop off. But wow, I finally got into the groove. It's been a minute. This is my first live that I've done. And if you guys are just now tuning in and realize, okay, where has she been? This is the first live I've done in like literally 3 months. The beginning of this was a little rocky, but we're here. We're fine. We're doing it. We did it. What is your average time in a trade? My average time in a trade this year specifically is a week. It is absolutely a week. Last year was kind of all over the place. I was holding a trade for a few days, for a day, for a week. There was a time last year where I traded corn, and I was in corn for 3 weeks. What's wrong with you? You as in me. God. So it was that was a wild one. Some of you guys asked my R multiples or my risk to reward. I answered that kind of earlier in the live. If you want to kind of rewind, hit the rewind button. Smaller time frame strategies. So the strategy that I use is still the same for all time frames. So the strategy, the trend lines, the break of trend lines, the bounce of trend lines, I have used that exact strategy for the entire 9 years of my trading career. I know nothing outside of it. I am, to be honest, like naive to other strategies. I've got no idea. Fibonacci retracement or Fibonacci confluences or wave theory. hold on, guys. My headphones just got weird. I know nothing of the sort. Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm naive to other strategies. I only have been trading the same strategy for my entire 9 years. Average contract price. Maybe you mean like average contract or position size, which last year it fluctuated. I started my year trading the micros, which is fairly cheap. It's just 1/10 the size of a mini. And I would trade anywhere between like 1 and 10 of those because I wasn't quite comfortable enough to actually make the commitment to the minis. So I traded about like 10, which to be honest, I was paying a little bit extra in commissions just to get that comfortability, which I think is fair. Like if I am a little bit nervous to make the transition to the minis, like I'll pay a little bit more in commissions just to be able to get that comfortability. But I traded pretty heavy in position size this year. I've got a lot of big goals, and I'm really trying to I got goals to hit, and you gotta take on a little bit more risk to do so. So if you guys see me fail this year because I try to go so hard, which I know you guys won't, but it's gonna be an interesting year. I traded 20 contracts of platinum. The trade that made me $30,000 this year in platinum was 20 contracts. Are there micros for platinum? That is one thing there is not. Platinum does not have micros yet. So if you guys want to trade platinum and you got a smaller account size, you may have to wait. It's just, or like wait till I'm talking like lowest risk trade possible. Like you have been presented with A, B, and C, all of the confluences that you need. It's checking every box before you get into a trade. Maybe consider that if just the stars are aligning. But for the most part, platinum does not have the micros. So sorry about that. But gold does. Gold has micros. All of the indices have micros. I don't know I believe maybe silver and copper have micros. But gold does, and oil. Oil has a micro also. Do you offer mentorship? I do offer mentorship. I am doing, I haven't actually talked about this. Oh, my TV went off. Well, it's the countdown. All right, it's telling us when we need to end our live, so you better get those questions going. You know what I'm saying? We got countdown is on. We got 9 minutes. But I didn't post about this yet, so maybe you guys can hear it here first. You know what I'm saying? I am doing another accelerator. If you don't know what my accelerators are, it is where I do 21 days of live sessions. And like the first week is we're going over psychology. I think talking about psychology first, or just getting you in the right headspace for trading right off the bat. Mindset, is week 1. Then week 2 is strategy, and strategy is easy. You guys saw it. It is drawing trend lines. That is not the hard part. It's not strategy. It is consistency and implementation and psychology. As much as traders want to tell you that it's not, it is. And to be honest, I think consistency is above all. Like psychology might be second, and then implementation, obviously, that one's a given. Okay, but back to the point. So that's my accelerator. I do week 1 psychology, week 2 strategy, and week 3 is implementation. And it's 21 days of live classes with me. It'll be kind of similar to this, but we will go kind of more in depth on the strategy itself. And we do, for the last week, we do implementation to the charts every day. So we'll go over what the charts did that day, and we go over multiple time frames. I know that I've got quite a vast community as far as like what time frames they trade. So we'll go over the 5-minute time frame and see what opportunities we had. We'll go over the 1 hour time frame. We'll go over the 4 hour time frame. And we do that for 21 days. But to bring it all back together, it's going to be in April. April 3rd is the next accelerator. So if you guys want to be on the wait list, go to toritrades.com with a Z and get up on that wait list, because I'm only taking a select. I know that sounds so salesy, but I promise you that's just how it goes. I cannot take on that many people, and I got quite a big community. So if you want to get on the wait list, it's so funny. Like I can say that easily. Get on the wait list because there's a limited spot, because it's true. It's actually a thing. It doesn't feel like I'm being a saleswoman. But anyways, did you backtest your strategy? I did not backtest my strategy, I guess, because my uncle did all of the research. He did years of backtesting, but I did simulate. I mean, I guess you could consider that. I simulated the strategy for a year before I decided to go live, which I did have to end up going back to simulating. So I guess I would consider that backtesting. But when I think backtesting, I feel like it's you going back in time in the markets and then trying to apply the strategy. So I forward tested the strategy, but in simulated markets. So I think that's maybe a version of backtesting because it wasn't live. Let's see what other questions we got. What are the differences that you see on the smaller time frames? I think I did well in, you know, the 5 minute and the 1 hour. I did very well. Like I still was a consistent profitable trader in the lower time frames, but I just have never seen success like this in the 4 hour time frame. Oh my gosh. Now I don't know if that's a me thing. Maybe that's a me thing, because I don't believe my uncle purely just trades in the 4 hour time frame. So I think there are going to be things that you learn with strategies, what works for you, what suits you better, so it takes a little bit of experimenting. As far as the strategy goes, though, I didn't stray from that. I knew the strategy is the strategy. My uncle was a literal representation of the possibilities that this strategy could give me. So I knew the strategy was going to work. I was like, okay, my uncle is this person that is showing me his lifestyle. Like it's not a guru. It's not a mentor. It's not a person on social media. This is someone tangible. Like this is someone in my life that I can see reap the rewards of the strategy that he has kind of curated himself. So I knew the strategy was going to work. But as far as the experimenting of like time frames and the different instruments, that was on me. That was all me. That's okay. My uncle doesn't trade crude oil. I do. Like that was something that I found that I don't know why. I've just developed a relationship with it. I trade it very often. We've been in a relationship for a long time, you know what I'm saying? So I'm committed to oil, but now I'm trading platinum a little bit. So we're seeing, I'm kind of trying to pivot, but those are some things that you'll develop on your own. But strategy itself, I'm telling you, it's been the same all 9 years. All right. Do you use the 4 hour only? Yes. I only use the 4 hour time frame. Once you started trading consistently after 3 to 4 years, how long did it take you to be consistently profitable? So that was the time frame that it did take me to become profitable, was those 3 to 4 years. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, if you go all the way back, no two journeys are going to be the same. So the fact that it took me 3 to 4 years, yeah, that's a long time, dude. I don't think that's going to take you guys that long, but it took me that long. 1, I had to take trading seriously. 2, I had to be consistent with trading. And then 3, like, okay, now we got to work on the actual strategy and implementation of it. So it was like, take it seriously, actually do it consistently, and now get good at it. Get the confidence in the strategy. So it took me a long time. And I think maybe that's kind of the funny thing when I get to meet these other traders, or when I go to like some of these summits or some of these events, and I see this is what keeps me motivated and not discouraged. At first, I compared myself. A lot of these guys have been trading for as long or less than I have. I've been trading for 9 years. Some of these guys have been trading for 3 to 5, and they make so much more money than me. And I'm like, that was a hard thing to grasp. But then I got to go back and understand, okay, but yeah, you took 3 to 4 years just to get profitability. So that was on you. So this kind of helps me kind of think, okay, you know what? I'm still motivated. I've still got a long way to go. I can't even imagine where I'm going to be at 5 years from now. Oh my God, it's going to be crazy. So these are just some things, understanding that your journey is not going to be the same as anyone else's. There are too many things that can come into play. But also just still being excited. It's a crazy cool thing. I wouldn't trade this for the world. I would not trade that. I would not change anything. Maybe I needed that 3 to 4 years to actually get to where I am now, and I'll take it. All day I'll take those 3 to 4 years. Because this is the coolest thing ever. It's still so surreal to me. The level that I'm at in my trading, and I'm still just scratching the surface. It's so exciting. And it's so cool to still have like goals, like still have ceilings that you're breaking. Like still, passing personal bests, making, record trades. Like I'm still going. I can't imagine what the next one's going to be. It's so exciting. Have you traded AI bots? No, I haven't traded bots before. Tell me more about your Discord. Ooh, my Discord, it's been in the works for a really long time. Discord, right now it's free. You guys can get up in that Discord all you want. It is it's a wait list that you have to get on, but then we accept you into the Discord. But it's been free for a long time because I am truly trying to get like this perfect formula for my Discord. I want to make sure we've got a schedule, we've got engagement, we've got the right content, and enough time from me. Like I need to be able to give you guys my time in this Discord if I'm going to offer it. So we are finally coming down to like the last few stages of like schedule and implementation on Discord. So go ahead and get in there now. If you go to my website, ToriTradesWithAZ.com, the Discord stuff's all on there. But I will have more information for you guys with that soon, but it's coming out pretty soon. I'm going to say like within the month for sure. All right, guys, we've only got a few more seconds left until this live is over. So whatever questions you got, speak now or forever hold your peace. We got 30 seconds. Oh, here, I'll go ahead and drop the link right here. Boom. Thank you guys. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just start my sign off. I loved this live tonight. Thank you everybody for hanging out. If you enjoyed this, I mean, be sure to engage even when this live stream is over. Hit the like button, share this bad boy, drop some comments. Drop some comments. You know what I mean. Subscribe if you're not already. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off. It is 8 o'clock. I'm done. I'm toast. We're out. Just remember my schedule for the foreseeable future. Tuesdays are long form content. The second and the last Wednesday of every month is going to be my live streams, and then you guys get reels all the time. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out. I love you guys. See ya.